I'm going to use a for loop to create a triangle here made up of hashtags. But there are three parts to a for loop, three statements. The first statement sets up the index. The second checks the condition. The third updates the index. Alright, so the first statement is a counter variable. I'm setting up a counter variable or an index variable, and a common one that's used is I. And the name would be I. However, I want to be a little bit more descriptive, so my variable's name, I'm going to call it line. I'm going to set it equal to a string, and that string is going to be a hashtag. And now, to end this first statement, I'm going to use a semicolon. And now I'm going to move on to the second statement, which checks the condition. It checks whether I'm going to continue running through the for loop or not. As long as this condition is true, then I'll continue running through the for loop. However, if it's false, then I'll exit out. So as long as line.length, as long as that value is less than any number I choose, the number I'm going to choose right now is 8, as long as that's true, let's continue running through the for loop. However, if it's not, exit out. And I'm going to end this statement with another semicolon. Alright, so what does this .length do? Well, .length, what it does is it takes your string and converts it to a number. And then this expression, it's going to turn into a number, and it's going to check whether this condition is true. Is this number on the left-hand side less than the number on the right-hand side? Well, think about it. What number is less than 8? It's 7. And so another way I could have written this is if I want to just reach a value of 7 and nothing higher, then I could actually write 7 here. However, I don't want less than 7. I would want a line that has a length of a number that's less than 7 or equal to 7 here. Okay, so I still like using less than 8, so I'm going to get rid of less than or equal to 7. I'm going to use less than 8. I've ended the statement. I'm moving on to the third statement, which updates the index. Now this can update by incrementing or decrementing. It can increase or decrease the value. So line is going to increment by one hashtag each time. I'm appending one hashtag to the end of each line each time I iterate through the for loop. And I'm going to close this off and end the for loop with a parenthesis. Once the for loop's created, I'm going to write console.log, and I'm going to pass line, that variable line, in as a parameter to console.log, so it will display in the window over here. And I'm going to run that program now. I see I have a triangle made up of hashtags, and with each new line, one additional hashtag is added to it. So let's talk about this for loop. What's actually happening? Well, at the start, I have one hashtag that's displayed in the window here. So now let's check this out. Let's think about what's happening. The first statement says, is the length of the first line, is it less than 8? So .length converts the string into a number. It tells me how many characters are in this first string. Well, there's only one character. I know 1 is less than 8. That's true. So I'm going to continue running through the for loop and add one more hashtag to the line variable. So when I move down to the next line, what's happening here is, well, it's saying, hey, you know what? The length of this string, it's 2 characters long. 2 is less than 8. So let's continue running through the for loop and add an additional hashtag to that line variable, that counter variable, and this time there are 3 hashtags or 3 characters, which is still true. 3 is less than 8, and we're going to continue running through this for loop until we reach the very end, which happens to be here. Let's see this last line. Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hashtags, which means there are 7 characters. So it runs through line.length, or 7 characters long. That's less than 8. This is still true. Run through the for loop one last time and add one additional hashtag. The next time we run through this for loop, there's going to be a line with 8 hashtags on it. So 8 is not less than 8. It's false. It exits out of the for loop, and all of the contents are displayed in the window using console.log, and that's what we're seeing over here. Cool stuff.